Let's work on the user item as well, and let's ensure that we output something for every user. We're getting a bunch of user data passed into user item, ID, image, name, and so on. So let's make sure we use that. So in the user item component, of course, it's again all about returning JSX code. And I'm using parentheses here so that I can conveniently write multi-line JSX code. Every user should be a list item in the end here. Because it's inside of an unordered list, it's good semantics to use a list item here. Now we'll add a class name of user item to every list item here. And by the way, on the users list, I will also add a class name to the unordered list of users list. This will make sure that later the styling works properly. Now with that, back to user item. So here we have a list item for every user. In there, I'll add a div, and on the div, I'll add another class name, user-item__content. Make sure you get these class names right, because I will provide the finished CSS code to you, and the CSS code, of course, will be fine-tuned for these class names later. I don't want to bore you with writing our own code, which is why I will give you the finished one. Inside of that div here, I want to have another div with a class name of user-item__image, and in that div, we can then render an image, a self-closing tag where the source simply is props.image, because that is the key under which we receive that image URL. I will also provide an alt tag here, and that will just be props.name, which is the property under which we receive the name of the user. Now let's add another div next to that first div, which holds the image. And on that div, I'll add a class name of user-item__info. And in that div here, I then want to have a h2 tag where I output the username in curly braces, props name, and a h3 tag where I'll output props.placeCount, which is that name of the prop where I get the number of places this user created. And then also after that, in a new expression, in new curly braces, I'll check if props place count is equal to 1, and if it is, with a ternary expression here, I'll say place, otherwise I'll say places, simply to have the right plural form depending on whether we have 1 place or 0, 2, 3, 4, 5 places, and so on. And that can be a simple, basic user item. Now, if we save everything, and we have a look at this by going back to /nothing, we see something. This is not really styled in a good way, because I haven't added any styling yet, but we see something. We see our content here. Now let's also quickly validate that we see the no users found text, if we have no users, by temporarily commenting out the single user we have in our users array. If we now save that, we see no users found. And again, don't be irritated by this grayish background, we'll soon change this. So this now generally works, but of course styling is totally off. Now therefore in the next lecture, let's make sure we work on the styling and the general presentation of our data and our components.